Welcome into this week's AHSAA Weekly, your inside look at everything going on with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's show, we will take you to Montgomery. We're going to catch up with Jamie Lee, Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Director and Coaches Association, as we'll talk about a big announcement this week from the AHSAA and WOTM concerning the broadcast of the state finals from the Legacy Arena in basketball coming up later on in the month of February. Also tonight, we will have Tim Gorman from Central of Phoenix City's high school broadcast program. He will take us to the state indoor track and field championships at the Bill Harris Arena at the Birmingham Crossplex. Ken Washington, Assistant Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, Director of Officials. He will be with us to talk about officiating for the statewide championships. Also, we're going to have a blast from the past as we catch up with Baltimore Ravens football player, a former University of Alabama star, and former Hoover High School star, Marlon Humphrey. Also this week, we'll take you back to see a state record set in the pole vault at the state indoor track and field championships. We've got video of the North Super Sectional Wrestling Championships and also 23 three-pointers being hit by Cold Springs girls in a sub-regional game. We'll show you some of that as well. And we've got a couple of more inductees into the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame that we'll meet this week. All of that and a whole lot more in a packed edition of the AHSAA Weekly.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
This is the AHSAA Weekly, and we are going to go to Montgomery now to the AHSAA offices. We are going to speak with Jamie Lee. He is the Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association with the AHSAA, and he is also in charge of the sport of basketball for the Athletic Association. And Jamie, it is basketball season, no doubt about it. One of the most exciting times of the year. Glad to have you with us this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
Thanks, John. I'm glad to be here, and I'm very excited. We got a big week coming up and a bigger week the week after that, so I'm very excited about basketball playoffs coming up.
We've got the regionals beginning in 4 locations around the state of Alabama. We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll also talk about the state finals coming up at the Legacy Arena in Birmingham in just a couple of weeks. But some big news pertaining to that I know you want to talk about here this week is the Alabama High School Athletic Association partnering with WOTM. The AHSAA TV network this year is going to televise live all 42 games of the state finals from the Legacy Arena in Birmingham. That is fantastic news. I know you're excited about that.
Isn't that awesome, John? We are can't be even any more excited about the fact that every single one of our games in the state finals are going to be televised. I want to thank WOTM and their partnership and the things that they do for us in the high school sports. And it's just phenomenal. What an exciting time to be the director of basketball, I'll be honest with you. But we got a lot of people in our office deserve a lot of credit for making this happen, and obviously you guys for doing it as well, and we're just very fortunate to have it. Our student athletes are going to be, they can always look back and say, I played on TV, whether they made it to college or not.
And I want to expand on that a little bit because obviously everything the Athletic Association does, everything that we do at WOTM, all about the student athletes and the coaches and the schools and communities and just the impact. Talk about that a little bit, about these young people and these coaches and these communities. A lot of these are small towns, and having their school and their athletes and their coaches and staff being highlighted on statewide television.
Yeah, I think once that the word gets out that these, especially these small communities that are going to have the opportunity to be seen on TV and have their game, maybe grandmother or grandfather who can't get out and go to the game, be at the arena to watch the Final Four to the state finals, they're going to have the opportunity to watch their grandson or their granddaughter or whatever it might be participate right there on TV. And I think that's so exciting. I think it's such a great thing for our sport. I think our young people are, like I said, it's going to be something they're going to always be able to look back on and say, You know, in this case, we were the first group to ever have our semifinal game on TV. And so it's just so exciting for our kids and for our coaches and for those communities that are going to be involved as well.
Jamie, let's talk about the playoff format for folks that may not be familiar with how basketball works. Of course, you have an area tournament. That determines, in essence, who goes to the playoffs. We've had the sub-regional rounds. Then we go to the regionals, and then we go to the state finals. Talk us through maybe the regional format and the state finals format as well.
Well, you know, now starting on Thursday the 14th, those students will go to their regional sites, 4 regional sites. We'll be down the Sweet 16 basically in every category, every classification, I should say. I'm sorry. And we're in the Sweet 16, and they'll play that little 4-team tournament to see who wins that 4-team tournament and gets to come out of there and move on to the Final Four. And from an old coach's adage, they'll be in another 4-team tournament once they get there to the Final Four. So coaches, they're preparing their team to let's not look too far ahead. Let's look at that next opponent. We got to get past this one and try to get to that finals of the regional. And then if we get to the finals of the regional, see what happens. If we're fortunate enough to win that one, we've won that 4-team tournament. We'll move ahead to the state finals. So such an exciting time for these players. Coaches have put a lot into it throughout the course of the year, and now they're down to that regional tournament format. It's huge all across the state. We get such great support from our fans all across the state at all of our sites, and it just creates an atmosphere in terms of our playoff that's hard to match in any of our other sports.
Jamie, if someone loves basketball, these next 2 weeks are off the charts because they can go to one of the regional sites and literally for about 5 days watch wall-to-wall basketball from early in the morning to late at night. Then when we go to Birmingham to the Legacy Arena, they can do the same thing. If you love basketball, it doesn't get any better than the next 2 weeks with the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
If you like basketball, that's exactly right. You can come to any of these regional sites, and for the first 3 days, you can see 8 games. There's a game every hour and a half. So, and then after that, the next 3 days, you got 6 games once we get down to the finals. And so, what is that? 24 and 18, 42 games going on at each regional site in the next week. So, very excited. Just go. Plan on being there all day. Get there as early as you can. Buy some popcorn and a Coke or water or whatever it might be, and enjoy some great basketball.
I know growing up in Morgan County, Decatur Red Raider, and this has got to be a dream come true for you to be the guy that's in charge of high school basketball basically in the state of Alabama with the AHSAA. Is a tremendous time I know that you're having at this time of year.
It is. I'm very fortunate. Basketball has been a big part of my life for as long as I can remember. I wasn't a great high school player, but I grew up in a county that had really, really good basketball from both our girls and our boys for as long as I can remember how good the basketball is. Got a lot of Hall of Fame coaches from Morgan County that were basketball coaches, so I had a lot of people to look up to and challenge me, I guess, to be a better coach during my time, and now I'm fortunate enough to be here working with a great staff here at the High School Athletic Association as the director of basketball. And I guess in a lot of ways it is a dream come true. I'm very fortunate to still be around the game that I love, just in a different role.
Jamie, thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to seeing you. I know fans will be seeing you on a lot of these regional sites and also at the state finals down in Birmingham. You'll be there on site traveling around the state of Alabama. Thank you so much for sharing the exciting news about the state television broadcast with us here, and thank you for being with us on the AHSAA Weekly this week.
Well, thank you, and again, I hope everybody come out and support our student athletes. Looking forward to 2 great weeks of basketball.
Jamie Lee is the Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association, our guest this week on the AHSAA Weekly. We'll be back in just a moment.
WOTM, your home for high school sports in Alabama. Tune to WOTM Monday, February 24th for the first tip of the AHSAA Basketball Championships live from Birmingham. And stay with WOTM until the final champion is crowned Saturday night. All 42 games will be live on WOTM. WOTM is available to all cable TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not a part of your provider's channel lineup, call and request that they add WOTM.
Why you started seeking, not necessarily seeking, but these opportunities like this talk about what it means to your program and how these have been coming your way. Talk about the All-Star Week.
Well, anytime I can get my kids working, that's what's important to the program, because in Career Tech, we do real life experiences, and anytime they can actually do outside the classroom work, where it's an experience where they set the cameras up, they look at a map and go, our best angles are here, and really just improve it for the spectators, people that can't watch it at home. We're from a military community. Lots of parents are deployed, so they miss their kids' activities. And if we can provide access to that for them to watch it, that's kind of important to us for our community.
What have you seen in your program? Are there students beginning to really migrate into it?
They are. The more we do, the more students kind of see us out there and see the fun things we're doing, and they really want to become a part of that. The experiences they get. We did Sports Week. We spent all week in Montgomery, where they were treated, as good as any other athlete that was there. We were doing the indoor state meet in Birmingham for a couple of days. We're going down to Gulf Shores in May. We did all the football games, a bowl game for Tuskegee. We've picked up a contract with local hockey and another minor league football team. And these are all things that our kids are seeing. Our students at Central are seeing my students do, and they're super excited about it. So they want to join.
You're in church. What's your name? Haley.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Haley, tell us what does this mean to you and to y'all's program to be able to do something as important as a state championship?
I think it's a great opportunity to come here and be able to represent our school at such a big indoor event, and be able to also represent our athletes that are from our school that are running in here. And it looks good on our resumes, it looks good on our program, and it gives us opportunities in the future to do other things like this.
How long have you been a part of this NFHS Network program?
This is my second year, probably about 2.5 years going in this program, and I enjoy every bit of it. Every event that we've been to has been great.
Guys, is Tim Norman a slave driver here?
Not really. He just tries to work his hard to make sure that our broadcasts are working.
What brought you? I'll let you say. What brought you into this broadcast program?
Actually, when I started out, I wasn't even into it. Mr. Norman's probably the biggest influence on my life right now, and that's what brought me into it. Pretty much his teaching and all the kids that I've worked with.
What about either one of y'all answer that?
He's definitely changed my career path. I've always wanted to go into healthcare, but now I'm looking into more digital media side of things.
What about you?
Well, I really started, this is my first year doing broadcasting, and so far it's been pretty nice. It really opened my eyes to what my future can be held to, like TV broadcasting, and that's just pretty nice.
And then one more question. The star football players walk down the hall, the star basketball players walk down the hall, and say, man, what a great game. What about now that when y'all put together a really great production and you walk down the hall, is it the football player coming to you and say, man, thank you for what you did?
I wish it was. We're actually in the process of marketing our brand right now, so hopefully we'll actually get people that can notice us a little more. But we've got several viewers that watch our weekly productions, and we've got people who are involved in sports that depend on us to get their highlight reels and stuff that are really appreciative of the program.
Being able to do a state event, you're not just doing something for Central High School, but when you look around and see that what the difference y'all are making, there's probably hundreds and hundreds of people watching what y'all are doing. That has to make you feel pretty special after you work a 16-hour day, doesn't it?
For sure.
Is that not? But the 16-hour days, are probably typical of this profession.
Right.
Does that scare you? One last question. Just tell us about what you think about what Mr. Orman and has brought to this program.
We want to talk the whole time.
Mr. Norman had really brought out throughout this program. He's really showed us teamwork, work ethics, and how working as one really makes a perfect broadcast. Like with Haley on the mic, giving us demands on where she wants the camera at, what camera angles she needs. It really shows us that us working together is the best thing possible.
One last thing. I want you to look in the camera and tell us your name and what grade.
Jordan Gossett, 12th grade.
Caleb Barr,
Haley McDonald, 10th grade.
Oh, so the 10th grader's the boss. Appreciate it.
Without our contest officials, we would have no contest. I truly encourage our parents to be a shining example of sportsmanship regarding our contest officials and setting an example for everyone, as well as coaches and fans across this state, to treat our officials with respect.
Ken Washington here, Assistant Director of Officials here at our Super Sectional Wrestling Tournament. I'm here with Louis Moore. Hey Louis, how are you doing today? I'm doing well, can't complain. Hey Louis, tell everybody how you got into officiating.
So I used to be a wrestling coach myself for the then Walker High School, which is now Jasper High School. As I began teaching, one of the coaches needed some assistance with the younger program, and just asked if I would do it, and I said sure. I had no idea what to do, but he taught me how to do everything, all the moves, all the rules, and since then I've been a part of wrestling.
Well, that's great. Wrestling is a great sport in this climate of today. So outside of wrestling, what is it that you do from your day-to-day?
So outside of wrestling, I'm actually a junior high school principal, Jasper Junior High School in Jasper, Alabama. So I'm with kids a lot.
That's good. You're with kids a lot outside of school and dealing with wrestling also.
Yes, sir.
How do you find your time being a principal and then being an official? How do you manage that time at the end of the day?
Well, it's tough. I have a great support system with my family. They help me out a lot, watching my kids and just making sure I'm taken care of as the father. But outside of this, it's just finding time for me. If it's just riding home, decompressing, those kinds of things. But ultimately, when you do something that you enjoy, it makes your day worthwhile. So I really enjoy it. You don't hear many folks say that, but I really enjoy being an official and being part of wrestling.
Well, Louis, we are glad to have you part of the association and giving back to our student athletes and our member schools. And thank you very much for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Ken Washington, Assistant Director of Officials. I'm here with Loretta Horn. How you doing this morning, Loretta, can you tell everybody how did you get into track officiating?
Well, I was a middle school head basketball coach and girls coach, and we held out for meetings. And my head coach, Tate, told us, why not become officials to be able to host our own meetings? So, roughly 18 years ago, I started as a middle school track coach.
And was you a track athlete in your day?
Yes.
So there's a fine line as far as being an athlete and then on the officiating side of it. What do you do for your day-to-day?
I'm an outpatient therapist with East Alabama Mental Health, and I'm a graduate student at Auburn University. I teach 3 sections of foundations courses.
So you're a teacher, you work in mental health, you officiate, and you're doing all those things. Are you on a collegiate level?
Pretty much every conference, depending on the weekend that they schedule their meetings. SWAC, American Conference, SEC, Sun Belt, American, you name it, I'm working.
Wow, that's a great accomplishment. So with all of that, when you're seeing those great athletes, what makes you leave the college game and come back and do officiating in the high school level?
Well, I think that it's important to give back. A lot of our officials are older now and they're retiring. And I'm a mother. My child is involved in sports, so to stay an active part of the game, I want to be involved. I can't compete anymore, so being an official keeps me active and keeps me involved in the sport.
Well, Loretta, we are happy to have you, and I know our student athletes and our member students really appreciate your service, and we thank you for doing this interview with us.
Anytime.
Ken Washington, Assistant Director of Officials with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. We got David Johnson, one of our track officials here today. David, how you doing, sir?
Doing fine, thank you, sir.
Can you tell people how you guys started officiating?
Well, my children ran track, I ran track, and when my children graduated high school, I just still wanted to be part of it.
And we're happy that you continue to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Can you tell us, what do you do outside of track? What's your day-to-day?
I sell laundry equipment to big collegiate colleges, hospitals, hotels, such like that.
Okay, so doing what you do day-to-day, sometimes it could be a lot, trying to manage between officiating and your day-to-day job. Can you tell people how do you do that?
It's a challenge at times, but luckily we're scheduled and we're told when to be where, so we can schedule around it. And my job's the same way. I know where I'm going to be a month ahead of time.
And there's a lot of different officials here that maybe do different things, and they have to manage the time just like you do.
Oh yeah.
What would you tell people how to get involved in officiating if they want to get involved in training?
Well, you're correct. A lot of us have day jobs, but we still love doing this for the love of the sport. But if you want to get into it, go to the local high school, ask the coach how you can get into it, or go on the Alabama High School Athletic Association website.
Okay. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, sir.
And good luck for the rest of the tournament.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Right. Pleasure talking to you.
Hey, I'm Ken Washington, Assistant Director of Officials here at the Wrestling Sectional. We have Willie Staggs here. Hey, Willie, how you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Good. Willie, can you tell everyone how you got started officiating?
When I came home from college, I helped with my high school team, coaching them. The first meeting we went to as an official and coach, taught me to take a test every year. So I started that year.
All right. What are you doing during your daytime? What do you do for a job?
I work for a contractor on Redstone Arts, doing an IT security. That's a 8 to 4 job, 8 to 5 job every day.
Okay. If you was going to tell someone how to get started, or you wanted to give anybody advice on how to get started, what would you tell them?
I would tell them get in touch with their coach first, and knows how to get in touch with us. Each area has their own organization and leadership in the organization. And just contact them, get some information. So we have a state camp every year where each area has a district camp. That's the best way to get started, just get in touch with the leadership of the area they're in.
All right. Thank you very much.
Sir.
WOTM, your home for high school sports in Alabama. Tune to WOTM Monday, February 24th for the first tip of the AHSAA Basketball Championships live from Birmingham. And stay with WOTM until the final champion is crowned Saturday night. All 42 games will be live on WOTM. WOTM is available to all cable TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not a part of your provider's channel lineup, call and request that they add WOTM.
I'm Marlon Humphrey. I currently play with the Baltimore Ravens. It's a former Alabama High School Sports Association track athlete, football athlete, and we're at the state championships, 1A through 7A, and I help out with Hoover High School. Been helping out the track team, giving back my time. I just finished a season. Got knocked out early in the playoffs. I was able to make the Pro Bowl and have some other good accomplishments. Really enjoying what I'm seeing from the different athletes, especially the Hoover athletes. And it's just a special thing to be able to go to Hoover High School and now be able to help Coach out, coach. And I appreciate Coach out for giving me the opportunity to help some of the athletes and hopefully bring back some blue maps to Hoover High School. So really enjoying it, and hopefully it continues to keep going well.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly, wrapping up this week's program. And again, we're going to introduce you to a couple of new members that will be inducted into the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame at the banquet next month in Montgomery. Legendary girls basketball coach Yvonne Simmons of G.W. Carver High School in Montgomery, and also a legendary high school football coach and also wrestling official and coach, Tony Pugh.
Well, coaching is the love that I have for the game. I used to tell my athletes, I don't just play the game, I love the game, and that's what I try to instill in them. And working with young people, it was just a blessing, just seeing the development. and being able to communicate and just get the most out of them. So I just really enjoyed it. It's just a passion that I had for the game.
The reason I got into coaching all those years ago was just the love for sports. I think growing up, I came from an athletic background. My family was athletic. I had an uncle that was a coach a long time and saw what he did and how he touched people, and I kind of wanted to do that. And so that's the reason I went into coaching, to be able to lead young men and women and teach them how to play the game, but also how to learn to be successful in life through the things that you learn in sports, commitment, dedication, work ethic. I can name off many things that you need to be successful in life, and I think you learn all those from playing athletics. And then just the people I was able to work with through my career. I was able to work with so many outstanding coaches and teachers and administrators, parents. A lot of people don't say much about the parents, but you got to have great parents to be successful, and players. I was telling someone the other day, they asked me about going into the Hall of Fame, and I said, there's a couple of reasons you get to go into a Hall of Fame. One is you worked with great people. You were able to coach great players, and you're getting old.
We are back wrapping up this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, and it has been a busy time in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. We've had wrestling, we've had the state indoor track meet going on, of course, sub-regional basketball action. We want to begin taking you around the state. We're going to take you to the State Indoor Track and Field Championships at the Bill Harris Arena at the Crossplex in Birmingham. This is Walker Smith of Homewood High School setting the meet record in pole vault, 15.7 and a quarter, sworn by opposing athletes celebrating with him at the Crossplex in Birmingham. Look at this right here. We'll show it to you in slow motion. Sticks the pole and then up and over 15 feet, 7 and a quarter inches, a meet record as you see the celebration going on there in Birmingham this past weekend at the State Indoor Track Championships. Outstanding time there by Walker Smith. Now we're going to take you to some wrestling here. This is going to be the North Super Sectional Wrestling going on. As you can see, a number of different mats, all kind of different weight divisions going on. You know, at high school wrestling is a lot of different classifications. They go all the way down to just barely over 100 pounds, all the way back up to the super heavyweight divisions as well, where you get the big guys, and at all points in between there. A lot going on. If you've never been to one of these wrestling meets, there are a number of matches going on. The crowd intensity is off the charts. You see those wrestlers there with the different mats. You see the teams watching over there to the side going on. There's big crowds there, a lot of screaming and yelling, and it's one of the more exciting events of the year in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Again, this was the North Super Sectional Wrestling. See some of the smaller guys, and now we're seeing some of the bigger guys in the action as well. They're in the circle, trying to stay in the circle. They get knocked out from time to time, but just a tremendously competitive event going on at the State Super Sectional Wrestling. And this is the Cold Springs Eagles girls. Last year, they led the nation in three-point shooting as they won the Class 2A Girls State Championship. Well, Monday night in the sub-regional win over Summerton Christian, a game they won very impressively, 87-24, they sank 23 three-pointers. Coach Tammy West and her team winning the Super Regional to advance to the Northwest Regional. Three-pointers Monday included 6 by Neely Ellison, 4 each by Elizabeth Hill and Kyla Aaron, and 3 by Brooke Kreider. This is all from a earlier game in the season when they played the West End Lady Patriots. But this game where they scored 23 threes, that was in the sub-regional win Monday night, 87-24 over Summerton Christian out of Summerton. Cold Springs, your defending Class 2A girls champion, looking to maybe repeat. They're going to the Northwest Regional. Then from there, a strong possibility they may even make it back to the state finals in Birmingham. That's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly. We'll see you back here